Hi everyone, on today's vlog I'm going to talk to you about Jack Daniels and this book, Daniels Running Formula. So, who is Jack Daniels? Jack Daniels is an American running coach. He was very much at the forefront of the running revolution in the 60s and 70s in the US, when running was really taking off in a big way, especially in America. And he is an exercise scientist. What he done was he studied, thousands and thousands of athletes, and he looked at the way that the body dealt with the stress of running at various different intensities, and he came up with lots of different practical solutions for running. So this is something that's really helped me look at running in a different way, and it's something that I refer to sort of again and again when I'm training. So one of the many things Jack Daniels came up with was things to keep in your mind while you are training, when you're going out for all your runs, just something to think about for overall economy of your training. So just going through them here, things to keep in mind are know your strengths and weaknesses as a runner, stay positive, expect highs and lows when running, be flexible with training, set intermediate goals, know the purpose of your run, keep in mind eating and sleeping habits, rest if you're sick or injured, and the last one, which is a really good one I think, is a PB is never a fluke. So just going through them one by one, your strengths and weaknesses as a runner. What Jack Daniels says is focus on your weaknesses when you're during a training cycle, but when it comes to a race that you've got in mind, focus on your strengths. Now, just looking at myself, everybody's unique. Some of the strengths and weaknesses that I think that I've got decent endurance. I can run 10, 20, 25k, not much of a problem. But a weakness I think I have, and again, everyone is different, everyone is unique. My raw speed, I would like to increase that. My raw speed isn't where I want it to be, and I've never really improved it a great deal, certainly where I want it to go. So that's maybe a bit of a weakness for me. Maybe sometimes getting into a race, I've got a number in my head and I think, really, can I really get that number? I don't know. So maybe I need to work on my belief a little bit as well. So focus on your weaknesses during the training cycle, but focus on your strengths when you're coming up to a race. Stay positive. That is so important as a runner, and as you train, you're going to go through all sorts of things when you're running. If you're really good shape and you've got a race and you go out and you try and nail it, somehow it just didn't happen. You didn't get a PB, race didn't go as planned. You think it's easy to sort of be really negative about that, and it's understandable, of course it is. You want to get a good result. Every race you do, sometimes it just doesn't happen with the best will in the world. So it's a process, week on week, month on month, year on year. Running is a process, and I think you've got to learn to always see the best, always try and be an optimist, which is what I've tried to do over the course of the few years that I've been running. So again, just sort of pushing on from that, expect highs and lows. Some runs are good, some runs are terrible. I've had a really few bad runs, just training runs. Most of my races have been okay actually. I've had one race in particular just didn't go well. But it's part of the overall, it's part of the game. It's part of the game of running. Dealing with injury is quite hard to do. Running's the most amazing thing in the world when you're injured. And seems that everyone in the world is out running and you're sitting on your couch with your feet up. So that's sort of some of the negatives to do with running. Another negative I think, which I've experienced over the last year, is hitting a plateau. I don't seem to have improved my speed at all, but I've not really focused on it that much. I did in the summer, maybe not in the winter. I've not done as much as I could have, but I'm quite relaxed about that given the year 2020 has been. Hitting a PB is always good. It's a high point. When you hit a PB, you think, yeah, confidence is high. You can do anything. From 1k to 1 mile to half marathon, you think you can do it all, and that's good. That's a positive thing. So just to keep in mind, the highs and lows of running, it's all part of the balanced economy of life, never mind running itself. So moving on, be flexible with your training. I showed you in the last vlog a sort of typical training week for me, where I usually take a Monday off. But what I do like to do is look at the weather. If the weather's going to be horrendous on a Tuesday, but it's fine on the Monday, I tend to maybe go out on the Monday, switch up a little bit. Just something as simple as that. You try and adapt. Sometimes, again, with the best will in the world, you just can't make a run. Something happens. You can't go out. You plan to go out at this time, you can't go out at this time. So you go out later on, something happens, you can't go out later on, so you can't train that day. That's fine, don't beat yourself up about it. It's all part of being flexible. So the fifth one is set an intermediate goal. This one's really important. Now it depends on what you're training for. If you're training for a marathon, maybe it's good to do a half marathon as part of your training prep. If you're training for a 5k or a 10k, I would maybe think about doing like a time trial, or something simple. If it's a half marathon, say, try and do 20 minutes of your goal pace, or 30 minutes of your goal pace, or 40 or 50, whatever it is. It helps you build confidence, see where you are. And another aspect of that is if you try and hit a target, 15-minute time trial, 20-minute time trial, whatever it is, and you don't get it, you don't hit what you think you should have hit, that's fine as well. Now you know what you've got to do to improve. Now you know what you've got to focus on going forward. So it'll stop that sort of, when it gets to your goal race day, you'll have even more confidence because you've spotted a weakness, you've overcame it, and maybe you'll get a good result on your race day. Number 6 is know the purpose of each run. This is something I'm going to talk about in a great deal of detail in the next vlog. Different types of running: easy runs, threshold runs, intervals, reps, marathon, hard reps, whatever it is. You've got to know why you're going out each day. If you're going out for a 8k run, 10k run, just to get more mileage in, that's fine. Know that as you're going in. There's no point in doing a hard run that day if it's meant to be just easy miles. You don't want to put any more stress in your body than is absolutely necessary. So just know the purpose of each run, know why you're doing each run. I think that's really important. Next one is about eating and sleeping, and seeing these things as part of the overall economy of your training. They're not separate from it. You have to try and eat well. I've mentioned before in a vlog, I don't have a particularly great diet. Okay, not too bad, but especially at this time of year, a lot of sweets in the house, and I tend to eat quite a lot of sweets when they're there. But try and eat little and often, and try and get good sleep as well. Sometimes you go out on a run and you haven't had a good sleep, or you've just ate a lot of junk, by and large you're going to have not a very good run. So just be aware that during the course of any normal day, the things that you do during that day will have an effect on your next run. I think that's important to understand. Everything is part of your training from that respect. Another one, number 8 on my list, is don't run when sick or injured. It's so frustrating when you've got an injury, especially a little niggly one, and you think, I'll go out and I'll chance it, I'll see what happens. And lo and behold, you make the injury a little bit worse. Your confidence drops, and then you're out for longer than you would have been otherwise. Especially if you're sick as well, sometimes just feeling a bit under the weather, but you've got a run to do to make up your mileage for the week. Try and let that go. Again, it's better to be recovering rather than exacerbating any underlying illness that you might have, and then you'll be out for longer than expected. And there's another part of that as well. A lot of folk tend to think that if they don't go out and run for 2 or 3 days, that their fitness is going to slide. Somebody's going to beat them. The body doesn't work like that. I'll talk about that a little bit in the next vlog as well. It takes a long time for your fitness to slip away. So even if you're out for a week or 2 weeks, you're still going to maintain that level of fitness that you've got. So don't worry about it too much. Last on Jack Daniels' list is about PBing, hitting that personal best, and how it's never a fluke. If you've got a race and it's all downhill, fair enough, you might get a massive PB than you otherwise would have done. But overall, if you're doing a park run or a 10k, half marathon, your goal is, let's say a half marathon, your goal is 145. You hit 144. Brilliant, well done, fantastic, it's a PB. You might say to yourself, oh, but that's because this, or it's because of that, the wind was at my back, or that's fine. These things might be true, but take it. Take it as a PB, is a PB, is a PB. Take it all day long. Build your confidence with it, and then set a new goal for the next time. So that's pretty much it. I hope these things help you think about, frame your running in a certain way. And this is to obviously optimise the sort of benefits of all the training that you do. And just to give you an overall balanced approach to your running. And I think the one that Jack Daniels hits home the most with is consistency. Consistency will always lead to success. So hope you like these 9 things that are on the list. Maybe you've got a few of your own I don't know about. Hit me in the comments below if you think there's something else that should be in there. And yeah, thanks very much for listening, and I will see you in the next vlog.